Well, yesterday, reading in Samuel's done with Saul. Okay, so he is tasked by God to go to Bethlehem and find Jesse, and God tells him one of Jesse's sons is going to be who's going to be the new king. But Samuel's worried about Saul killing him if he finds out that's what he's doing. So he takes a calf with him, says he's going to make a sacrifice, right? And basically makes a pilgrimage out of it, and takes a bunch of people with him. But he's hiding. He's got fear, subconscious mind, right there, trigger. That's interesting, right? Then, so he sees Jesse. He sees Jesse inside. And he goes, "You got another son?" He goes, "Yeah, we got the younger one. He's out there tending the sheep." Now, as soon as Samuel sees him, God says, "Okay, that he's the one." Okay, so is looking for a what do you call it? A minstrel, someone to play music for him, play the harp for him. And David was known, I guess, for being an excellent harp player, and so people told Saul about him, and independently, and sent somebody to get David to play the harp for him. And he loved the music because he could get into. He felt he was in the spirit. Okay, so listening to music, praise and worship, and you're singing, that is another way of focusing your subconscious mind. It's kind of cool, right? Music does that. So David, I'm thinking somewhere in here, it's going to tell me that David is already communing with God. And I didn't get it. I didn't get that in that part of the scripture. Okay. And I'm figuring that's why Samuel recognizes him, because they both were. But it was God told him that's the one, right? It wasn't until they go up against the Philistine and Goliath, and David gets sent out to give food to his brothers, and then he hears what's going on, and he grabs like the 6 shiny stones, or 5 shiny stones, smooth stones, and he's like, let me at him. And Saul's like, "You're just a kid, right?" And he tries to put all his armor on him, and and he's like, I can't move with all this stuff. So he goes out there and he faces Goliath, and Goliath's like, "Who are you, you puny little, child?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take you out." Oh yeah, when he's telling Saul, how he's taking out bears and lions, and God delivered those bears and lions to him, just like God will deliver the Philistine to him. That's when you find out that David's been in communion with God. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's way cool. Okay, that's where the connection was made. Okay, so David just like whacks him, dents him in the head with a stone, then grabs his sword, hacks his head off, right, and takes it to Saul, and he's like, bring it. and and of course the Philistines take off running. They're like, "Oh my God, this little kid just took out our biggest guy," and like it was nothing. But that's where it was. Okay, I have had tendonitis in my knee. I was running like 4 miles 4 days a week, 8 miles 2 days a week, 10 miles 1 day a week. I'm trying to build up the David Goggins stuff. And then I just walking back. I was going to the Walk for Cancer. I wasn't even in it. I was just going to go talk to the guys from DHR Renaissance, because I was talking to them about using their conference center to bring David Goggins to the Valley. And on the way back, I felt a little twinge. It was distinct in my knee and my ankle. The next morning, my knee's all swelled up, my ankle's all swelled up. So I've just started running again. So I'm running 3 miles a day. I run to the gym, I work out, run back, and but it's like today is like it's strong. There's no weakness. I don't feel the tendon popping. And then of course tomorrow I got to go to the VA. It's my annual physical, I guess they're doing on me for checkup. But I'm gonna be good to go. The a lot of being real disciplined what I eat, staying consistent with my work. I'm stretching now. Oh, yeah, what a concept. But I was stretching really a lot before the marathon, and then after the marathon, I kind of wasn't stretching so much, and I think that's what helped contribute to my tendonitis. But then it is something reading in the scriptures and looking for what I'm looking for. It gives a whole different dynamic to everything. And thinking through it while I was on my run this morning, I kept thinking about like boxing training. Roy Jones Sr., guys like David Love, they can take somebody and make them a fighter. Roy Jones Sr. did that with me. He, I just had desire. I just wanted to do it. I wanted to do it so bad. And he was able to take that and make me at the high level, right, from where I was at. And I was game. He tells me all the time, you were game. He'd fight anybody. and had attitude, right? And David Love could do that, but there's a lot of trainers that can't do that. What they do is they just go through the numbers and they look for the guy. They're cherry picking. They're looking for the guy that's already got it, and then they ride that horse to the ground. Okay, they don't make a fighter, and it's not good for the fighter. There's a gym here, and they get this guy, and he's fought some of the best in the world, and he's tough, and he likes to get hit. I feel sorry for that boy later on down the road, right? And I watch him spar, and he gets hit. Doesn't move his head. He's strong. He can take it. He just wears you out throwing punches at him. And I've been there. I tried that strategy. It didn't work too well. And I'm like, God, I want to give the kid, tell the guy something, but you can't teach anybody something until they're ready until they want to be taught. They gotta want to know what you gotta tell them. They want to hear what you gotta tell them. You can't, if you give somebody the answer before they ask the question, they won't hear it. Okay, and that's why you ask questions, figure out where they're at and what they want, what they're looking for. Right? It's interesting. So I'm real excited about this revelation. Basically what God did, you look through the Bible. Okay, so with Moses was reluctant. Well, there was Abraham. Abraham had a deep desire for God. Okay, he was seeking God. God couldn't get away from him. He wrestled with God. Okay, and then came Jacob, and Jacob was seeking some things. Jacob wanted to be successful. Jacob wanted to be the one that was blessed. Okay, he wanted the blessing, right? And then came Joseph. Now Joseph was a very good steward. Joseph was an amazing story. Pulled him literally out of the pit, right, to be running Egypt. Okay, and very good steward. Then things fall away, right, and then comes Moses. Moses was a reluctant follower of God. God had to make him, because he stuttered. He had a bad temper, really caught in his subconscious mind. Okay, very redundant over and over and over again, right? And then came Joshua, and Joshua was another, very disciplined, loved the Lord, had a lot of victory, a lot of success. And then, when God brings in Samuel, Samuel was like, came up with it. I mean, his mom was praying for him, put him, had him raised by Eli, all right, and then God started talking to him, right? I'm not sure he was such a good leader. I don't think Samuel was a very good leader at all. Saul just didn't have that connection with God. I think he wanted it, but he was just, reminded me of a lot of, Navy SEALs. He was a take charge guy. Saul was a take charge guy and do what he thought he, was right. Being a king, but he didn't have the connection. He had to go through Samuel to get that connection, and got taken away from him, right? And then here comes David. David already had a communion with God out there tending the sheep, right? And had a belief and had faith, right? And then, he's gonna fall with the Bathsheba. He's gonna commit sin with her, and he never is the same after that. Okay, and then comes Solomon. Solomon falls away. Gets all the concubines, starts following their gods, and thinks he's too smart, right? What you find is what you're gonna find with Christ. Christ had the right coming up the development. That's God and Mary, and in his development, and going to God at a very young age, in communion with God, in a deep personal relationship with God, and that makes the difference. Okay, makes all the difference. So, and that's where we're coming to, and I'm putting, things together. His subconscious mind got trained through the developmental years, and before the age of 7, to know God was real. It was second nature. It was in him, and that happened to all us. We had to be renewing of our mind. Okay, and that's what Bruce Lipton talks about, with that high emotional catalyst that brings it's like post-traumatic stress disorder without the trauma. Okay, it's like an exuberant, joyful renovation, that in our brain. If we can do it on purpose, we can have the joyful thoughts, joy, gratitude, love, all right, and focused on a certain thing that we want to master, and we can master it much quicker, right? And so that's what we can all do. Christ had the right development. God put him together in the right place, the right time, to make him who he was, and have that communion. But we can have that too, and that's why the praise and worship, and that's why when people come to God, they get this excitement, because it's an amazing to know that we have that connection to the spiritual realm through to God, us personally, connection with God and the Holy Spirit. Some call it the power of attraction. Okay, and it's how we talk to him. All right. I'm excited about today, and it's hot. It's like going to be like 114 degrees here today. Isn't that exciting? All right, better than 60 below anywhere else. All right, have a wonderful day.